Okay, this is gonna be a pretty freaking weird video. As I've said before many times, that I've been abroad for quite a few years, and probably this spot I haven't been back to in about 2.5 years. And the last time I was here, I noticed some really big weird changes, but I thought it was just some really funky low tide. And now I'm here, and this is like the third time that I've been here, and either I developed superpower eyesight, or that island out there is like a lot closer, like maybe what, 20, how many meters would you say that is?
I'm not sure about meters, but I will say
I'd say it was at least 5 miles closer to this island.
I will say this is Anna Maria Island in Bradenton, Florida. And you probably wouldn't understand if you didn't know this island or this place. But excuse us. But you probably can't see it that well, but there is an island out that way, and there's a beach over there.
This is
in that direction. There's a bridge. Well,
that's the Skyway Bridge.
About a year and a half ago, when I was last here, those landmarks out there were not this close. I can't explain it, but I'm making an observation right now that having lived here my whole life, and I've never been able, from the spot I'm sitting right now, I have never been able to look straight out like I am in that direction and see that island. From where I'm standing now to see that island, I would have had to previously look in that direction, and the island was much, much further out, it seemed, and it probably won't show well. Maybe it shows on the video, that bridge in that direction.
You can
right
actually
over there
now see cars moving across the bridge. And that bridge used to be about 20, 30 miles out from this location.
Mm-hmm.
This is the north shore of Anna Maria Island. And that is Egmont Key. And I can tell it's Egmont Key because I can still see the lighthouse. But you could never see it on a, clear day. You could see it off in the distance.
Yes, this is a very clear day, but I've been out here on very clear days before, and it's not looked like this.
And all that white sand out there,
you can probably see it as a line of white right here.
That's St. Petersburg Beach, which was never visible from this location.
Mm-hmm.
And all those breakers that you see there are hitting shoals. This is the entrance to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, all right around here.
Obviously lacking in the amount of barges that normally come through. Mm-hmm. You see those big dredgers out there?
Probably not.
But they're by the island. They're all over the Gulf, all along the Gulf. Big dredgers.
Right at the tip of my finger, there's a little tall thing you might be able to see on camera, and that's some kind of dredger
and there, to our knowledge, has not been any beach renourishment. There's been a lot of activity that's gone on in the Gulf, and we'll show you the rest of what we saw along the way, the walk here.
I made a previous video on the walk to this north shore of the island here, and all along the way, and I explained in the other video of how dramatically the shoreline has changed, and it's only been a year and a half since I've been here, and from that point on, like I said in that video, the shoreline was along the edge of those houses, and you can reference that in the other video, but the shoreline was there, and there are also, you can tell that it's not just a strange tide or like a super low tide, because there's sand dunes, there's foliage, greenery, and plants growing. And if it was a tide, where the water is normally there, there wouldn't be that kind of plant life growing because they don't obviously grow in salt water like that, and it's not dead. It's living grass coming out of the sand. So the water hasn't been up at that point for quite some time for those plants to spring up and start growing there.
Okay, and one thing, keep in mind, this is a barrier island. It's separate from the peninsula of Florida. But the entire Atlantic coast of Florida for the last couple years has been experiencing tremendous erosion. In fact, A1A in parts down by South
Fort
Lauderdale has been completely washed out. So my thinking, I mean, I have one theory, is that the entire peninsula geography has shifted. And we've had a lot of, well, not a lot, I mean, there's been a lot of seismic swarms around
seismic activity and
around Puerto Rico. And also unusual, a couple fairly moderate earthquakes in the Florida Straits, which is on the west coast in the Gulf of Mexico. So just keep that in mind. If anybody has any ideas or theories about what the heck is going on here, I'd really love to know some logical explanation. We'll show you the rest in just a bit.